My name's Miguel. I go by Insical, and that's my techno project. I'm originally from Lisbon, Portugal, and I've been living in LA for 7 years now, just over 7 years. I also lived in the UK for a little bit when I was studying and I was at university there. I've always been involved in electronic music since I was a kid. When I was about 12, I want to say 11 or 12 years old, my uncle gave me a tape with a compilation that had Goa trance in it. And it was, pretty mind-blowing for me. I mean, that really changed my life. Didn't sound like anything else I'd heard before. At the time, sort of in the late 90s, you've had all kinds of acts that were exploding and they were crossing over to the mainstream, things like Daft Punk and Prodigy and Chemical Brothers, Underworld, Orbital. I mean, all of these artists that are now huge at the time were crossing over to the mainstream. And there's a huge European electronic music culture already there. So, I was definitely drawn to all of those things. I also absorbed a lot of the electronic music culture in the UK, and I went to clubs and basements and raves and I was a student, so I couldn't go to that many, but the few I did go to were definitely life-changing, And then that's kind of what convinced me that, I wanted to be an electronic music producer, but I also wanted to be a music producer, a record producer in general, and that sort of came later, but my first passion was obviously electronic music. I like making techno music, and I've been, like I said, involved in dance music for a long time, and I feel like techno is one of the truest original forms of dance music that has gone through so many shifts and it has so many flavors and so many things to offer. I feel like it's the genre that I connect with the most because it allows, from a creative and artist standpoint, it's true freedom. It's a freedom to explore, the freedom to break rules and break ground with sort of a future aesthetic in mind. So it's kind of exploring what the sounds of the future should sound like. So it feels like a very sort of timeless style and the timeless genre. I'm sure a lot of you have seen like the energy and the, how it brings people together when music gets played and loud sound systems and a party comes together and a whole group of people come together to dance to it. I mean, it's something truly magical. And that's one thing that I always try to put in my music, always looking back to those moments where I was on the dance floor and something in my brain clicked and it felt amazing and it felt like I was having some kind of spiritual experience. I always try to connect with that sort of feeling of being in awe of what the music is doing to the people around you and to you. The LA techno scene kind of took me in and, embraced me. And, I can say I'm officially part of it. I'm not a huge artist in any way. I mean, I'm not touring the world in any way, but I can say that I know the LA scene more intimately than I have known any other scene in any other city I've lived in. When I was in London, I was kind of just scratching the surface. When I was in Lisbon, I was just a little kid. But now, I know people. I can go to one of these parties and I'm greeted by everyone. And that's priceless. You really can't beat that. To feel like you can go to these events and people are just gonna welcome you with open arms. I was in a sort of a hiatus, I guess, for a little bit. I had a couple of releases as Insical. My first one was in 2020. The lead track was picked up by Charlotte de Witte. So that was, it was kind of memorialized in one of her live streams. So I'm, again, very thankful for that. And then another release was with this label from the UK called AudioBloc. They actually reached out to me wanting to do a release and we put it all together and I got remixes done via the label. And, shout out to Architect, which was by far my favorite remix and they really killed it. We have a release scheduled for August 16th on Command Control Records because the flavors of music that they put out were something that spoke to me, and I felt like it could pair well with what I was doing. And Brandon from the label, B. Riley, he was, was really chill, really cool about it. And we settled on 3 tracks, and this 3-track EP is coming out soon. And I'm very excited about that. So I'm excited to get back into it. And I'm putting a mix out very soon. That should be coming out in a matter of days. GVR, or Global Vibe Radio, with 6 a.m. By the way, 6 a.m., the homies, those dudes are the best. I love them. And they have, in fact, helped me a lot in my artist journey, especially Gia, who has been holding me accountable and giving me the sort of motivation and discipline to carry on and move forward and get these projects to see the light of day. So I'm excited to get back into it. And I'm also talking to other labels, so I can't really reveal anything because nothing's really set in stone yet, but this Command Control release is definitely happening, and I'm super excited about it. I do have some other mixes from live shows that might be coming out soon, including Split Checks Dimly Lit at the Melody Lounge, which, by the way, shout out to them. Amazing stuff. Really cool little vibe they have going at the Melody Lounge. Split Checks, another crew that's near and dear to my heart. Onyx and Alex Casillas, Lake Hills, big shout out to them. And yeah, those are kind of like the news. And as far as any future projects, I would say that for Insical, there's a lot of music that's in the chest, ready to go. I'm making more music now. I've been writing more music in this sort of last year or so than I have in the previous 2. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, I'm just stoked to be able to do what I do, and I'm also interested in doing music production for other artists. That's actually something I really like doing. Is in general, I just love being a helpful person when it comes to studio stuff, like being an engineer and providing support for artists and helping them achieve their vision. That's something that really brings me a lot of joy. So yeah, those are kind of the news right now. And your audio is good, yeah? Okay. Clap.